So last week's Premier League predictor, we had a little bit of a fun with our In last week's Premier League predictor, we had a little bit of a In last week's Premier League predictor, we had a bit of fun with our predictions where I essentially just predicted the opposite of what I actually thought would happen. Now, you guys watching on YouTube, you were just like, whatever, because frankly, none of you actually watch the predictions I make, but over on the shorts-based stuff on Instagram and TikTok, it got some people riled up, so frankly, I'm doing it again today. Starting on the results from last week, I actually got 2 correct results, with Aston Villa beating Spurs and Brighton beating Arsenal. It got me a game week total of 2 points and a season total going up to 212. And I basically chose to do this on the worst week possible because you guys absolutely smashed it. Wilf came out with 16 points in total. Ben got 14 points in second, and Jacklius came in with 11 points. We got Steuben on 9, Annie on 8, and then me on 2. I frankly chose the worst possible week to piss around with my blimmin' predictions because now I have fallen behind a lot of you in the season totals. Because, you know, I was in such close contention before then. So what am I going to do with this week's predictions to try and cheese off as many of the football people of the internet as possible? Well, I have decided that I'm going to Google each team on Google Images, and the first image that comes up, I'm going to count how many players are in that image, and that's how many goals they're going to score in that game. Yep, that's the level we've come to with this series now. So first up, we got Spurs versus Brentford. As you can see here, we've got this picture of Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, who are arguably the only 2 players that Spurs have. I'm doing the ones that are in focus, even though some of these images, frankly, are awful. So Spurs there getting 2 goals, and we've got Brentford coming in, and you can see we've got at least 3 players in the image there. Ironically, one of them, Ivan Toney, who's now been banned from football for 9 months, I believe. So he won't be playing this weekend, but Brentford are going to score 3 goals. So I've gone for Brentford to win 3-2 away at Spurs. Next up, we got Liverpool versus Aston Villa, and as you can see, Liverpool here have got themselves 5 players in this image that you can kind of see. Admittedly, I'm clutching at straws there, but you're going to see why in a minute, because this is the Aston Villa image. It's safe to say there's quite a few players in this image, so I have got Aston Villa to win away at Liverpool 25-5. Next up, we got Wolves versus Everton. When you type in Wolves, you get this image here. It's very small and probably very pixelated on your screens right now. And when you type in Everton, you get this. I don't even know who that is, but he looks like he's very determined to keep Everton up and make Ben Miles cry. So we've got Wolves to win 3-1 against Everton. Next up, Bournemouth versus Manchester United. Obviously, with this Bournemouth image, just 1 player in this one. And then in the United one, I've gone for 2. I think that is, you know, Casemiro and Anthony. Even I can't tell who that is behind. I think it's Bruno Fernandes. But you can clearly see 2 players in this image. So it's a 2-1 away win for Manchester United. Next up, we got Fulham versus Crystal Palace. And when you type in Fulham, you get this very dated image. But there are 11 footballers on that screen, including some absolute gems. Danny Murphy and Damien Duff in there as well. And they are up against Crystal Palace, who unfortunately only really have 2 people at the forefront of this photo. You could argue it was 3, but I've put 2 and I can't be bothered to change the figures now. So they're going to lose 11-2 to Fulham. Arsenal versus Forest next. When you type in Forest, you get this very lonely image of 1 player there. And then for Arsenal, I've gone with 2. You got Gabriel, you got Martinelli on the floor there. I think that's after he actually got hacked down by several Brighton players after trying to completely flatten Matoma. So I actually quite enjoyed watching that, if I'm honest with you. It's the first time I've not been rooting for Arsenal because I just wanted him to get injured because, frankly, he wasn't asked to be doing that in the first place. But Arsenal are going to win 2-1 away from home. West Ham versus Leeds then. I've got West Ham actually here with, I'm saying 3 people clearly in image. I mean, you could argue that you got Ben Rama as well in the background there, who's kind of easy to see. But then you can also consider Zuma an animal abuser. So we'll just cancel those 2 out, shall we? And make it 3 goals to West Ham and 1 to a very lonely Leeds United player. So 3-1 to West Ham in this fixture, which could see Leeds in big trouble. Brighton here in a bit of a huddle. I've counted 5 people that I can clearly see. And then Southampton, who have got a very lonely Ward-Prowse, who frankly, hopefully, will not be a Saints player for too much longer. They're going to lose 5-1 to Brighton this week. In focus here for Manchester City, you can see Haaland and Foden, so I've given them 2 goals, and they're up against this Chelsea squad. You know, probably the lowest achieving Chelsea squad in quite a few years, but there are 11 of them. So that guarantees them in this way of predicting 11 goals. So they're going to beat Manchester City 11-2 away from home. Newcastle versus Leicester City to finish then. Here's the Newcastle image. You get 2 players here with this substitution that I'm guessing was posted on Twitter or something. And then you got Dewsbury Hall and James Maddison having a little cuddle there for Leicester as well, meaning the final game ends in a draw 2-2. You're going to want to be following me on social media this week, especially on Instagram, on TikTok, because you're going to see a fair few confused people when they see this. Here are the Matt Ayres predictions for game week 37 in the Premier League. We've got Brentford to win 3-2 away from home at Spurs. We've got Aston Villa to win 25-5 against Liverpool. We've got Wolves to win 3-1 at home to Everton. Manchester United to win 2-1 away at Bournemouth. Fulham to win 11-2 to Crystal Palace. We've got Arsenal to win 2-1 away at Nottingham Forest. West Ham to win 3-1 against Leeds. We've got Brighton to win 5-1 against Southampton. We've got Chelsea to cause an upset at Manchester City 11-2. And we've got Newcastle and Leicester to draw 2-2. So there we have it. The enthusiasm for Premier League Predictor towards the end of this season is weaning off. But I'm finding some pretty interesting ways to make some predictions, if I'm honest with you. And yeah, hopefully I at least annoy some Liverpool fans with that one. If you guys have enjoyed this series, we're very, very close to the end of it. Let's try and make this video the most liked video in the series. So if you're watching this right now, hit a like on the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. And comment down below your predictions for game week 37 so you have a chance of getting on our subscriber leaderboard. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Just one more week to go, Matt. One more week of predictions to go after this.